Alan getting home very early in the morning from his late night job. Opened the door to his quiet, dark house with a bit of light gleaming in through the window from where the morning sun is shining. Alan goes to his refrigerator, opens it up, and gets out a beer. Finds his beer bottle opener on the counter as he no longer pays attention to the reason why he first got in the first place. As shite. As he opens his beer to quickly drink it down and gets ready to go to bed, as he is tired from working all night. Alan still got beer in his hand, beer bottle, goes to the couch and turns on the TV. But to his dismay, this morning, nothing is on. All the other channels are static, except for the news that looks like it has been going on for about an hour. Now, as the newscasters, no honesty, look like that they want to cut to commercial, but their boss isn't letting them, telling the camera to keep on rolling. Two, Alan's sense of humor. He quietly chuckles to himself as each broadcaster looks like that they are sweating. And their discomfort brings Alan the slightest bit of joy as he sips his beer. One drop at a time. The news stories aren't bringing anything interesting as they switch over to the next guy and he says something about later on today's weather, of which Alan isn't really paying attention to. But he does pay attention to what is said in the next one. the next story they have to say, which is a story of fucking breaking news. Appalled at the immediate news coverage and story, Alan perks up in his seat and immediately turns up the TV to a volume of which even he questions if his neighbors can hear. And as he does so, he listens in very quietly as the news broadcasters tell what is so exciting and what has Alan on the edge of his seat now. There seems to be a chase of many police cars heading towards a hospital. They now just got word that the person the police are chasing is indeed coming from a scientific research facility, and they are not sure what he is holding. He is currently going 150 miles an hour and did not tell anybody of his research entailed or where he was heading. The police chase started right whenever he blew past the cop's checkpoint just a mile outside of the science research facility. Now, police, wanting to pull the suspect over and contain said suspect, and not wanting to hurt any civilians or bystanders that may be in his way, in all honesty, just hopes that they wrap this thing up smoothly and quickly. Now hearing the news, this has Alan on the seat of his chair, wondering what could be so valuable as to risk the scientist's life, and as to why he is heading to the hospital of all places, thinking that they may just have a nurse or doctor on standby at the facility that he was working at. Or maybe it's something that they couldn't help and he had to fix it himself and they just didn't have the right equipment. Either or, this particular story brought Alan to the edge of his seat, wondering how it's gonna end. Now, with everybody, including everybody in the news broadcasting station on the edge of their heels, on the edge of his seat, wondering how the police are going to wrap this up. police trying every maneuver in the book to spin him out, turn him around. Hell, they even try to pull out some spike strips and box him in. But to the driver, this was all to no avail, as they have yet to fully stop and or be pulled over. This just in. We just got word that the person being pursued has been ID'd and is named Rapscallion Tabsalot. Rapscallion has stolen a device that, if ruptured, spews out a gas that changes the very DNA of living creatures around it into hideous monsters. We also got word that the scientific facility stating that it takes no part in what Rapscallion has created, stating that they had no idea what sort of secret projects Rapscallion has been involved in and wishes not to take any blame for it. As Rapscallion speeds down the street, block by block, cutting off pursuers and squeezing through the narrowest of gaps. Rapscallion feels like he now knows where he is trying to lead his pursuers, as they are slowly backing off, and he is getting ever so closely to his destination. Rapscallion now blocks away from his destination. In the newsroom now, we have got a special report stating that they know where Rapscallion is and tells everybody to vacate the building, as they know it will cause the biggest and most treacherous catastrophe. In the middle of vacating said building, they see gleaming headlights, and as the people told them not to panic before, they now burst into a fury of panic, And everybody starts trampling over one another, hopefully to get farther from the last person that was just in front of them. But to their dismay, that was not enough. As Rapscallion traps a lot, I'm honestly not sure about the name anymore, crashes into the building, bursting into flames with his car. From there, they see a smoke coming from the car that is colored pink mixed with blue, violet, and red, coming from the car. The hospital goers, knowing that it is not the normal colors of smoke that the car should be emitting, start to cover their mouths, not knowing that it may be too late. As the news broadcasters hurry and try to get there as fast as they can, merely a minute down the road from Rapscallion, now covered in flames. To everybody's horror, Rapscallion emerges from the car. From what they can only make out, he is smiling. And it looks like his face is filled with joy. As he falls to the ground. And burns alive right in front for everyone to see. Scientists, now panicking at the horror that Rapscallion just unleashed onto everybody in the immediate area, quickly goes through all of his notes to discover what he has just unleashed onto the world. Alan, now trying not to fall asleep at the horrors that may be, and beckoning at his doorstep, goes to the kitchen and gets another beer, as he thought it may be necessary, as he ponders about calling family members or loved ones, and continues to tune into the news story as it all unfolds right before his very eyes. The news broadcasters Now getting to the scene to cover what horror may become of not Alan's, Ponders? No, Rapscallions or horrific research. As the paramedics quickly cover their body before the flames can damage it even more than it already did. As the camera crew unload their work and wait, what? As the camera crew unload their work, I mean, no, not their work, but the cameras, and quickly start filming. Bloody hell. They notice that everybody is now dropped down on the ground, not on all fours, or all of them face down, but each and every single one of them are now either on the ground, face down on their side, or on their back, scattered randomly, convulsing from their mouths, shaking like they just having a seizure from an epileptic shock. The scientist now calling the news broadcast station, telling them to evacuate their news broadcasters as quickly as they can, telling them to get as far away from that place as far as possible, as they have just unearthed and what they presume have solved the riddle of what Rapscallion has been trying to do this whole time and has unfortunately succeeded. As they all look around them, getting the footage, the sound guy on standby gets a call saying that he has to leave with his crew immediately. Right then and there, as they have just gotten news from said scientific building that whatever was in the container is life-threatening. But that is all that they could uncover. As Rapscallions research in scientific methods was beyond their understanding. Now, getting the news and fearing the worst, seeing as though this coverage was not worth their lives, they left quickly and abruptly, leaving nothing but tire marks, camera, and boomstick on the place where they just was. As they had left, they had looked back in their rearview mirror to see that people are mutating into hideous beings only thought to be in fictional movies or books that they had only seen on TV. Now seeing the horror before their eyes and noticing how things will be forever changed. For now, they notice several military vehicles now rushing to the scene, quickly trying to do something about what has been now unleashed into the world. Only to crash into a tree not even a quarter of a mile down the road. Each and every single one shaking, profusely convulsing from their mouths, just like the others were laying down before them on the ground. News broadcasters now on TV, shaken from the horror that the news that they just got, and what they know might be spreading across the city now. They both shuffle their stacks of paper on the desk, stalling for time, looking at the prompter, wondering what it will say next. The news prompter guy now got word from the Science Academy, or Science Research Facility, saying not to go near there, even with gas masks, as the people there will still be infected. Much slower, as I mind you, but infected nonetheless. Getting the news. The news prompter guy now says that to the news anchors, relays it to them. Cool. As he does, and as the news anchors repeat what Alan said, they are now horror-stricken, white-faced and pale, as they know what they're saying and have a feeling what will come up next. Sadly, not a couple minutes later, their fears have come true, as the news prompter read that the gas does not dissipate or precipitate into the atmosphere. It only spreads, growing thicker as it mutates each and every human in its wake. Horrified by the news that they just told the public and everybody watching, which is now an all-time high. Good news for the owner, I guess. Alan, now getting the news and horrified that he doesn't have any means to make a gas mask or any means to actually survive for longer than he already has, now goes to the kitchen to get himself another beer and maybe go outside and start crossing things off his bucket list, as the world, in his eyes, seems to be going towards the end, as he could hear the gunshots going off in the background, slowly creeping towards him. He can hear the snarls and weeps of things that he can only presume were just human moments ago, now banging on his door, wanting to be let in. Alan, with no other options or back door to get out from, horrified by what death could possibly await him, cuts his losses and accepts that he will never be able to do his bucket list now, and decides to grab a weapon, 'cause if he can't get his bucket list, he might as well at least earn his death. Once he has finally found a suitable weapon from the kitchen, he ever so slowly creeps towards the door as the banging and the noise gets louder with each and every single smack and whatever appendage they now have hitting the door. He feels as though they are going either stronger in number or stronger by the second as he stalls for longer time. Alan, now 5 feet away from the door, sees as they have broken the door into not pieces, but the door is now disfigured, slightly hanging on by the screws and deadlocks that have been attached and is now hanging on to the frame of the door. Now it feels like seconds, and Alan feels as though his life is minutes away from being snapped out of existence. He waits just 4 feet away from the door, hoping that the monsters do not come in, as he feels he has so many things that he honestly wants to do. The monsters now feel pounds and smashes from breaking through the door, getting ever so angrier as their new lunch or breakfast is just standing before them, feeling as though it is mocking them. Alan is now petrified as he can get a clear glimpse of what awaits him. And now he clearly pictures what a horrible death he has to look forward to. He can do nothing but stand still and embrace what damn tragedy befalls upon him. Now the monsters are rushing towards him without any chance for Alan to react. They quickly and without a single thought overwhelm and engulf Alan. Fucking hell. I honestly have no fucking comments on this video or the story, as I feel as though my brain is completely rotted. I guess that's it for this fucking video. Till next time, see ya guys.